Hi there. My name is Mary Jo Burkhard, and I'd like to share a little bit about holding space. Two things, one in gratitude and one as an invitation. So I have been around holding space since 2018 when I first took the Holding Space Foundation program. And I followed up with more training, and I was part of the teaching team from 2019 to 2021. And I just returned from the alumni retreat for practitioners and members of the holding space community. And what a joy and a delight that was to meet up with people that I have only seen in Zoom before, to meet new people that I haven't met at all, and to meet a few people that I had seen once before in my life. So, really sweet time of interacting with people that are what I would call like-hearted folks. What's interesting to me about holding space is that I still, after years of knowing some people, don't really know what they do in their day jobs. I don't know what they do in their daytime, but I do know what they care about. I do know what they value. I do know what makes their heart come alive. We have shared grief. We've shared celebrations. We've negotiated really tough times in the support of these groups, and we've supported others in navigating their own journeys. So, what is holding space? Well, if you asked a lot of people, you'd get a lot of different answers because it really shows up a little bit differently for everyone. But at its roots, it is about coming alongside someone, being with them intentionally. Sometimes it's with words, so it may be conversation or discussion, and other times it's just a presence of being there intentionally with people along part of their journey. Holding space as a training really involves two things. One is it's a toolkit. It gives us some tools and steps and resources about how to hold space, but it at its roots holding space is really it's a way of being. It kinda weaves its way into you, or perhaps you weave your way into it, and it's just becomes part of how you think about life and interacting with others. So if all of this sounds a bit like something you might be interested in, here's the invitation. Invite you to check out the foundation program at the Center for Holding Space. The foundation program starts on October 20th of this year. And the program is set up into modules. So there's 5 different modules of varying lengths, and I'll talk about the first 2. Module 1 is sort of the basics of holding space. It is the toolkit. It's the basics or foundations of the toolkit. It's where you begin to l understand the language for what it means to hold space, for what is liminal space, for how to let go of the outcome, because all of this ends up being really not something that we can control and something that we don't even want to control. It helps us also understand what is the emotional component, the emotional labor that goes into holding space. It really brings up or requires us to be present with our essence in these conversations or in the spaces. Module 1, it's the foundation for all of the other modules and everything else in holding space. But module 2 is where the magic happens, in my opinion. Module 2 is 6 weeks, and it is the space where we learn about holding space for ourselves. This is the module that most people most often describe as the thing in holding space that was transformational in their lives. Because most people that come to holding space, they kind of already do some of this. They may not have the language for it. We might not really know how to describe it or what we should think about as helpful or less helpful ways as we engage with it. But we're all kind of trying to do it some way. And holding space, module one gives us that tools and language. But holding space two, holding space for ourselves, most of the people that I know that are givers, carers in any sort of way, will hold space for everybody else besides ourselves. We oftentimes put ourselves low on the list, if not last on the list. And holding space for ourselves asks us to put ourselves front and center and think about what are our unmet needs, and how do we ask for them? Who can I trust to hold my story? Because not everybody is safe to hold our story. And sometimes the people that we think should be the safest to hold our story because of the proximity in our lives, they're not really the ones to hold our story. And how is it that we begin and access the journey to reconnecting with our authentic self? And who can help me on those steps as I go on this journey? And how can I help support others? So if this is something that sounds of interest to you, check out centerforholdingspace.com and look at the foundation program. Since I haven't been part of the teaching team since 2021, I can't say, oh, I look forward to seeing you in the program. But what I can say is I would love to connect with you at the next Holding Space retreat.